Hello, my wonderful human beings. Hopefully you already have this yellow paper that says Maya Writing, but if not, I have uploaded it to Teams for you. There we go. Nice and pretty. Ooh, ah, oh, fancy. Okay, so what we're going to do today, my wonderful human beings, is we're going to work again with cheating at writing. So today you will answer the supporting question, how did the Maya use writing to represent activities in their culture, by analyzing 3 documents and writing a paragraph. So remember the last time we did cheat at writing, we did the say, mean, matter strategy. And this is the easiest, in my opinion, writing strategy because you start directly quoting the text, explain what that means, and then you explain why it matters. And then you go and you write your topic sentence and your conclusion. So let's jump right in. We're going to go to the text and we are going to skim through, because we've already read it. We are going to skim through and we are going to find a piece of evidence that will help us answer the essential question, how did the Maya use writing to represent activities in their culture? So I'm going to pause the video right here and I'm going to give you guys a moment. Do you want a hint? Do you want a hint? Okay. You're going to find the best piece of evidence in source B. Okay, so if you who are playing along at home are similar to the kids who were in class, you may have said in Mayan hieroglyphics, they use symbols, also called glyphs, to represent words, sounds, and objects. And that's really close because it does talk about representation. However, it just talks about these symbols, which instead of using letters like we do, these symbols represent the different words, sounds, or objects that they would talk about in their society. Instead, the more powerful sentence that will really help us answer that question is this last sentence in the paragraph. By putting several glyphs together, the Maya wrote sentences and told stories. So this helps us answer the question, how did the Maya use writing to represent activities in their culture? Because it literally has 2 activities here. It has writing sentences and telling stories. So what we're going to do, I have the benefit of doing this with copy and paste. You guys can copy and paste in here also. Or if you have the regular paper copy, then I need you writing by hand. So by putting several glyphs together, the Maya wrote sentences and told stories. Remind me, every time you copy directly from the text, what 2 things must you include? That is right. You need quotation marks and the source citation. So this is source B. Okay? From here, we're going over to the mean box. Now here's where you explain what it means. Please do not fall into the problem that one of my other classes did, and they wrote, by putting several glyphs together, the Maya wrote sentences and told stories, source B. This means when you put several glyphs together, you make sentences and tell stories. That doesn't say anything. That's just the same thing over and over again. Nobody wants to read that essay. That sounds terrible. Instead, we're going to talk about what it really, really means. So, think to yourself, of these 2 things, writing sentences and telling stories, which is the most important? Telling stories, right? Now ask yourself, why do people tell stories? Not even just the Mayans, but people in general. Why do human beings tell stories? Yeah, we tell stories to communicate and to express ourselves, right? The Maya were not any different. So I'm going to say this means that the Maya, oh gosh, I've already forgotten. Why do we tell stories? To communicate. Okay, that the Maya communicated and expressed themselves by doing what? Good point. By writing. Okay? If you need to, pause the video and copy it down. From here, we're going to talk about why it matters. You will notice that the matter box is bigger than the say and the mean box. You want to guess why? Yeah, because you're going to write more. And I don't know about you, but for me right now, it's been a long day. So I'm going to use my very easiest sentence stem. This matters because. Why does this matter? I don't know. To be honest, like I don't even know what we're talking about at this point. I'm so tired, y'all. So when we get to that point when we're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. Reread what you have already written. So I'm gonna reread it to myself out loud. So not to myself. I'm gonna reread it out loud. By putting several glyphs together, the Maya wrote sentences and told stories. This means that the Maya communicated and expressed themselves by writing. This matters because, okay, so now I need to talk about why it's important that people express themselves through writing. So you tell me. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Let's go back to the essential question. We're talking about their activities and what they did, right? Okay. So this matters because they, and remind me, who are they? The Maya. Miss Hawkins, how come we don't use the Maya again? Because we have the Maya in the first sentence and that the next sentence, we don't want it 3 sentences in a row. That just feels weird. So this matters because they were able to tell their stories about the activities they did, like, oh man, I don't even remember what activities they did. Let me go back to the source. And remember, we have all of these glyphs that show different things that they did and different things that they talked about, right? So we've got, they danced. This glyph shows to dance. This glyph shows to bless or to make proper. This glyph shows to take office, to manifest, to be seated. Let's pick 2 of them. Okay, so we want to do to dance and to bless or to make proper. We can do that. So this matters because they were able to tell their stories about the activities they did, like dancing and blessing people or things, right? Because that's usually what gets blessed, is people or things. Now remember, this box is bigger because we need multiple sentences, at least 2. Could we do more than 2? Sure, but end of the school day, a little bit tired. Let's stick with 2 for now, okay? I don't even know what it says, so I'm going to read it again. By putting several glyphs together, the Maya wrote sentences and told stories. This means that the Maya communicated and expressed themselves by writing. This matters because they were able to tell their stories about the activities they did, like dancing and blessing people or things. That is good, but we definitely do need something more, right? Okay, so I'm going to look at my sentence stems. My sentence stems are up there. Well, they're way too small for you to see, so I'm just going to read them to you. Oops. This proves, this supports, this is the opposite of, definitely can't use that. This confirms, this is important because, we kind of already did that with this matters because. This is the same as, or this information shows. Okay, I like it. It's the last one, may as well use it. This information shows that what? Who? Okay, that the Maya used writing to do what? Remember, we're tying everything back. This information shows that the Maya used writing to What are the two reasons we tell stories? We tell stories to entertain. Why else do we tell stories? Yeah, to teach, to learn. We call that to inform. So those are the two reasons that we tell stories. So we'll say, this information shows that the Maya used writing to entertain and to inform people about their culture. And as always, if you need to, pause the video so you can copy it down. So this, my friends, was the hard part. This was the body of the paragraph. Now we are going to write the topic sentence. Remember, the topic sentence is the first thing that your reader sees. Here's where we can use the racist strategy. We can restate the question. Instead of saying, how did the Maya use writing to represent activities in their culture? We could just say, the Maya used writing to represent activities in their culture. Plain and simple. We combined the say, mean, matter strategy with a racist strategy and made it super easy. Okay, so we're going to read it in order and then we can come up with our conclusion sentence. You ready? The Maya used writing to represent activities in their culture. By putting several glyphs together, the Maya wrote sentences and told stories. This means that the Maya communicated and expressed themselves by writing. This matters because they were able to tell their stories about the activities they did, like dancing and blessing people or things. This information shows that the Maya used writing to entertain and to inform people about their culture. So now, with the conclusion, we tie it up in a neat little bow. What is something that really drives home that Maya used writing to represent activities in their culture? Well, we could say, all of this is important because... Why is that all important? Are we, like, I get that the Maya lived a few hundred years ago. Are we really that different from the Maya today? No. We still tell stories. We still write. We still want to share, want to inform, and we want to entertain with our stories, right? We still represent our activities through our writing. We still have culture. So all of this is important because it shows that people across time and space, because Reno, Nevada, not where the Maya live or lived. So all of this is important because it shows that people across time and space find value in the same types of things. Okay? As always, pause if you need to. Now, here's the important thing. You need to rewrite your completed paragraph in order. So what we have here is our paragraph out of order. We start with a topic sentence. After the topic sentence, we have our say, then our mean, then we have our matter, and we end with our conclusion sentence. So now we read it all together. The Maya used writing to represent activities in their culture. By putting several glyphs together, the Maya wrote sentences and told stories. This means that the Maya communicated and expressed themselves by writing. This matters because they were able to tell their stories about the activities they did, like dancing and blessing people or things. This information shows that the Maya used writing to entertain and to inform people about their culture. All of this is important because it shows that people across time and space find value in the same types of things. And then you have to go back and ask yourself, does that paragraph answer the question, how did the Maya use writing to represent activities in their culture? Yeah, we only talked about 2 specific activities, but there are so many more and we don't have time to talk about them all. As always, my wonderful human beings, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Be good people, make good choices. Go Vikings.